A human rescues an alien girl from mercenary hunters, then wakes to find her tribe's strongest warrior hunting him. And the real danger hasn't even started yet. The wind on Veldara 6 didn't simply blow, it carved. It sliced across the frozen plains like a living blade, groaning against metal structures and shaking Jonas Rourke's lonely outpost with every furious gust. Jonas tightened the collar of his thermal jacket, muttering at the sky the same way old men mutter at broken radios. Perfect. Another cheerful morning in the galaxy's freezer. He wasn't supposed to be here, not after the mission that destroyed his team, his career, and whatever scraps of optimism he had left. But isolation had one advantage. Nothing unpredictable. No soldiers. No enemies. No responsibility. At least that's what he believed right up until the first plasma shot cracked through the silence. Jonas froze, breath misting. The echo rolled across the valley, sharp and unmistakable. The sound of someone being hunted. He waited, hoping it had nothing to do with him. Then came a scream. High, frightened, young. Jonas closed his eyes. Of course trouble finds me on laundry day. But his boots were already moving. Instinct won the argument he wasn't willing to have. He reached a rocky ridge and dropped low, peering over. 3 armored figures sprinted through the snow, hunters, well-equipped and frighteningly coordinated. Their target was a small, blue-skinned girl no older than 12, stumbling as she clutched a glowing shard against her chest. She wasn't running for her life. She was running for something much bigger. Jonas didn't know who she was or why she was being chased. He just knew the look of someone who'd already run too far. With a controlled exhale, he raised his rifle. A soft thrum, a quick flash, and the lead hunter's exosuit shorted out, sending him face-first into the snow. Jonas smirked. Still dangerous. Still stupid. Still alive. The other hunters reacted instantly, firing toward his position. Jonas dove behind an ice boulder, rolling to avoid a plasma bolt that hissed past his ear. He returned fire, forcing them back long enough for the girl to collapse near him. Easy, kid. I'm the good guy today, surprisingly. She stared at him with wide silver eyes, terrified yet trusting. He carried her to the outpost, heart pounding, mind racing. He didn't see the tiny drone circling overhead, scanning him, marking him. Inside, as the girl's breathing steadied, a deep metallic roar echoed outside the shelter. Too heavy to be human, too intentional to be nature. Someone or something had found them. The roar outside the shelter wasn't the kind of sound nature made. Jonas knew that instantly. Nature didn't stomp. Nature didn't breathe like an angry furnace. And nature definitely didn't cast a shadow that blocked his entire doorway. Jonas reached for his sidearm, but something or someone entered faster than he could even aim. The metal door slammed open, crashing against the wall. A towering figure stepped inside, framed by swirling snow. Blue skin, darker than midnight, eyes like burning ice, armor made of crystal plates fused into living muscle, and a spear. A glowing, humming, absolutely not from any friendly market spear, pointed directly at Jonas' throat. Put her down, the warrior commanded, her voice sharp enough to cut stone. Jonas froze mid-step, the alien girl still in his arms. Look, if this is about me borrowing sugar, I swear. Silence, human. She advanced, every footstep deliberate, deadly, controlled. There was no fear in her gaze, no hesitation, just suspicion carved into something fiercely protective. The girl, still groggy, reached out. Soraya, she whispered weakly. The warrior Soraya halted, her jaw clenched, her grip on the spear loosened by a fraction. She knelt beside the girl, checking her injury. A soft, painful exhale escaped her. For a moment, the lethal facade cracked, revealing someone who cared more deeply than she would ever admit. Then she looked back at Jonas. Hard, calculating. What did you do to her? I saved her, Jonas said, raising both hands slightly. You're welcome, by the way. Soraya's eyes narrowed. Humans do not help without reason. Yeah, well, I'm retired. I do lots of unreasonable things now. like rescuing kids and drinking terrible instant coffee. The girl tugged Soraya's wrist, speaking quickly in her language. Soraya's shoulders dropped, just enough to prove she believed the child more than she believed Jonas. Before she could say anything else, a sharp alarm flared on Jonas' console. Motion sensors, multiple signatures. Soraya lifted her head, eyes sharpening. She wasn't the cause of the earlier roar. This was something else, something worse. Jonas checked the monitor and swore. Through blinding snowfall he saw them, the hunters. Not 3 this time, 8, maybe more. And they were coming straight toward the outpost. Soraya's spear ignited brighter. Jonas chambered his weapon. For the first time they locked eyes, no hostility, just grim understanding. "You fight?" she asked. Jonas smirked. "Only on days that end in white." The hunters hit the outer wall. The entire shelter shook. The real trouble had arrived. The hunters hit the outpost hard enough to rattle Jonas' teeth. Panels shook loose. Snow sifted through cracks. In another minute, the entire shelter would be scrap metal. Jonas grabbed the girl, Soraya grabbed everything else, including Jonas by the collar when he hesitated a beat too long. "This way," she snapped, yanking open a floor hatch that Jonas had forgotten even existed. "Move, human." Jonas dropped into the maintenance tunnel first, cradling Lyra. Soraya followed, sealing the hatch above them. A second later, a plasma blast tore through the roof. Heat radiated through the ice. "Good news," Jonas muttered, crawling fast. "Your hunters know how to redecorate." Soraya didn't respond, but he caught the faintest twitch at the corner of her mouth. Maybe she almost appreciated humor, maybe. The tunnel spat them out onto the open tundra, wind slashing across their faces. The world was a wall of white, illuminated only by distant lightning-like flashes from the hunters' weapons. "We cannot outrun them here," Soraya said. "They will track our heat." Jonas pointed toward jagged spires of ice jutting from the horizon like crystal teeth. "What about there?" Soraya's eyes widened. "The Shiver Labyrinth? That place confuses our own scouts." "Good," Jonas said. "Maybe it'll confuse the psychopaths with guns too." With Lyra weak but conscious, they ran, Jonas half stumbling, Soraya guiding him with surprising steadiness. As soon as they crossed into the labyrinth's boundary, the world shifted. Ice walls rose high on both sides, refracting light into dizzying reflections. One wrong turn could bury them forever. Soraya led, blade drawn, scanning every shimmer. Lyra whispered something. Soraya translated softly. "She says thank you for saving her." Jonas shook his head. "She shouldn't thank me yet. I get lost in hotel lobbies." Unexpectedly, Soraya laughed. A short, startled sound, like she didn't remember what laughter felt like. They pressed deeper. Frost crystals crunched under their boots. The wind died completely, leaving an eerie silence. Jonas didn't trust it. Silence never meant safety. He was right. A metallic click echoed from behind. Jonas spun. A hunter had slipped in through a side tunnel, visor glowing red. Before he could react, Soraya launched herself forward. Her spear hit the hunter's chest with a thunderous crack, shattering armor. Another hunter appeared, then another, closing in from multiple angles. Jonas grabbed Lyra's hand. "Soraya, this is a dead end." "No," Soraya's voice hardened. "This is where we make our stand." But Lyra tugged Jonas' sleeve and pointed to a faintly glowing symbol etched into the ice. A hidden passage. A way deeper. A way out. If they survived the next 60 seconds. Lyra pressed her palm to the glowing symbol, and the ice wall dissolved like mist pulled by an unseen wind. Jonas didn't question it. He grabbed Lyra's arm and pushed her through the opening, while Soraya held off the remaining hunters with feral precision. As soon as Jonas yanked Soraya inside, the wall crystallized back into place, sealing behind them with a sharp crack. Darkness swallowed them, then light, soft, blue, alive. Jonas blinked as his eyes adjusted. They stood inside a massive cavern, hollowed by ancient forces. Veins of luminous ice pulsed faintly along the walls, like the heartbeat of the planet itself. A narrow bridge stretched across the cavern, leading to a city carved entirely from shining frost. Soraya exhaled with a mix of relief and dread. "We have reached the inner sanctum," she said quietly. "Home of my clan." Jonas whistled. "You guys don't do anything halfway, do you?" No one smiled this time, not even Soraya. Warriors emerged from the shadows, forming a protective circle around Lyra. Their spears hummed with suspicious intent as they stared at Jonas like he was a malfunctioning bomb. A tall elder stepped forward, crystal beads woven into her white braids. "Why is a human here? And why does the vessel cling to him?" Soraya stepped between Jonas and the spears. "He saved her life. Twice." The elder's gaze sharpened. "Humans do not help without reason." Jonas raised a hand. "Okay. Seriously, does your entire planet have the same opinion of us?" Before Soraya could respond, Lyra tugged the elder's sleeve and spoke rapidly in her native tongue. The elder's expression shifted, surprise, then confusion, then something almost like fear. She says, Soraya translated slowly, that the shard reacts to him. Jonas blinked. "The glowing thing? Great. Add that to my list of problems." The elder gestured for Lyra to show the shard. Jonas felt a faint vibration in the air. The crystal pulsed brighter when pointed at him. Soraya's eyes widened. "It recognizes you. Is that good?" Jonas asked. The elder didn't answer. Instead, she led them into a deeper chamber, where a massive structure hovered in the air. A colossal crystal heart, fractured but still burning with ancient power. "This is the heart of Veldara," the elder said. "It has slept for generations. It should have chosen a Veldarian. But it has chosen her." She nodded to Lyra. "And now it reacts to you." Jonas swallowed. "I'm retired. I didn't sign up to be chosen for anything." Soraya stepped closer, her expression softer than he'd seen before. "You may not have a choice," she said, "because if the hunters reach this place, the heart dies, and our world dies with it." A deep tremor rolled through the cavern floor. Jonas didn't need translation. The hunters were drilling through the ice. They had minutes, maybe less, before the war arrived. The tremor didn't stop. It grew. Ice dust rained from the cavern ceiling. Deep, rhythmic thuds echoed like a monstrous heartbeat. The hunters weren't sneaking anymore. They were drilling straight toward the chamber with merciless determination. Soraya gripped her spear tighter. "They've brought a breacher. We cannot withstand its impact." The elder pointed to the glowing, fractured crystal suspended before them. The heart of Veldara. "The only way to protect the vessel is to awaken the heart fully. But it requires two souls bound together. One Veldarian," she looked at Soraya, "and one the heart chooses." Jonas stepped back. "Hold on. I'm the guy who fixes heaters and complains about snow. You want me to, what? Hold hands with a magical ice crystal." The heart pulsed. Once, twice. Jonas felt it in his chest like a second heartbeat. Lyra placed her small, trembling hand against his. "You can," she whispered, her first English words. "Great." The universe picked now for character development. Soraya stepped beside him, lowering her head so their foreheads almost touched. "If we do this, your thoughts will touch mine and mine yours. No secrets." Jonas managed a crooked smile. "Good. Maybe you'll finally understand my coffee obsession." A tiny smirk flickered over her lips. "Begin." Together, they placed their palms against the floating crystal. The effect was instant. A surge of light tore through the chamber, blinding and warm despite the ice. Jonas felt every regret, every loss, every scar he'd buried deep, and felt Soraya's strength wrap around them like armor. Her memories touched his, her training, her grief, her fierce loyalty. Their emotions fused, not erased but shared. The heart responded, its fractured surface knitting together with pure, brilliant energy. The cavern trembled again, this time from Jonas and Soraya. The heart had awakened. The ice walls outside cracked open as a wave of shimmering force burst outward, freezing the breacher's machinery mid-blast. Hunters were thrown back, armor frosting over, weapons falling dead in their hands. The Frostbreaker himself staggered through the breach, massive, armored, unstoppable looking, until he saw the heart glowing at full strength. "No," he snarled. "It was supposed to be mine." Jonas stepped forward, energy humming beneath his skin. Soraya moved with him, perfectly synchronized. "Yeah," Jonas said. "Well, today's not your day." The combined force of the heart erupted from their joined hands, a blinding surge that struck the warlord square in the chest. His armor shattered like brittle glass. One final scream and he fell frozen solid. Silence followed. Real silence. Not fear. Not tension. Relief. As the tribe gathered, Soraya turned to Jonas. "Your life will never be the same." He exhaled slowly. "Good. I was tired of living the old one." Lyra hugged both of them, tears shimmering like tiny crystals. For the first time in years, Jonas didn't feel like a man hiding from the past. He felt chosen. He felt home. And so, on a frozen world he never meant to call home, a lonely human found purpose. A tribe found a protector, and a future once destined for ruin found new light. The hunters were gone. The heart was awakened, and Jonas Rourke, once a man running from his past, finally stepped into a life worth fighting for. Sometimes the universe doesn't send you a mission. Sometimes it sends you a reason to stay.